Hi, and welcome to our Intelligent Vehicle podcast. I'm Gary Rubin. Joining me to talk about how automakers are advancing intelligent systems into their cars is Sam Lamagna, the Director of Advanced Driving Technologies for the Automotive Solutions Division at Intel Corporation. Sam, welcome.
Thanks, Gary. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's get started. Here's your first question. What are the automakers doing today to advance intelligence in cars? Can you give us some examples?
There's all kinds of capabilities that are out there today. If you historically look back, anti-lock brakes wasn't in every model. That's a form of advanced driver technology. It is now proliferated across nearly every make and every model. Suspension, stability control, very similar things are happening. If you kind of fast forward a bit, and you look out there today, there are things like collision warning systems, and there are things like lane keeping assistance or blind spot detection or night driving vision. All those things exist today. They don't necessarily exist across every brand and every single model. They are typically the premium badges, and they're typically on the higher end of the premium badges. And there's a reason for that. Is today they're pretty costly solutions to put out there, and they're very complicated solutions. They aren't architected in such a way that you can actually drive forward kind of a democratization of advanced driving technologies across every brand and every driver. And that's where I think the really interesting part comes into play is when can you get something like a blind spot detection and make it as ubiquitous as anti-lock brakes.
Interesting. It really sounds like the ITification of the car is going on. What is your long-term view of this, where the car will end up as you see it, as it more of just a device or still be a car?
Well, there's definitely that intersection between Silicon Valley and Detroit, or Silicon Valley and Stuttgart, or whatever you want to call it. There's definitely that intersection between the IT industry and the automotive industry. And you see more and more car OEMs start to think, plan, architect, design, and deliver more consumer electronic type experiences in the automobile. And I don't believe it stops there. I believe that the automobile, the intelligent automobile, outfitted with all kinds of capabilities where it's aware of itself, aware of its surroundings, aware of the data it has, and is making decisions on its own, I believe that vehicle in time just becomes another intelligent device in what we're calling this Internet of Things. I believe it's just going to be another intelligent end node on the edged cloud spectrum of devices. And, there'll be times when you want the intelligence directly on the vehicle and you want the vehicle to do the analytics of the data. There's times when you want real-time response, or there are elements of that data that have a high level of privacy and trust, and you want to do the analytics right there. But there's times where you'll want the analytics to be done kind of in a metro area. So you don't necessarily need it done in the car, but you need the transportation infrastructure to be doing all the analytics to optimize for traffic flows or to ensure safety at an intelligent intersection. And then there are times where you just want all the analytics to be done up in the cloud, right, where cities are doing municipal planning. Where are the bottlenecks and what time of year are the bottlenecks most occur? Where are most of the accidents? Which roadways are in need of repair more than others? That's not a place where you need real-time response, and that's perfectly fine to do that up in the cloud. Where things really start to marry each other is when you want to do analytics both in the car and at the infrastructure level. The case model I love to use is today, there's no reason why you can't have a much safer intersection. Today there's already intersections where there's cameras. Someone runs a red light, camera flashes, driver gets a ticket. But that's about all that happens, right? The intersection doesn't make a decision to either toggle the lights where the red turns green and the green turns red, or not toggle the lights. A really interesting that can happen here is an intersection through the use of a bit of intelligence can be monitoring direction and traffic flow in all directions, and it can be assessing whether or not a vehicle, based on its mass, its distance from the light, and the speed that it's coming towards the intersection, and knowing the specs that that vehicle was rated for, an intersection can say, yes, that car is either going to stop in time, or, hey, there's no chance at all that that car is going to be able to stop in time for this intersection. So the intersection can make a decision. Yes, I'm going to turn the light red. That's what I'm supposed to do. And yes, that car is going to go through. And yes, that car is going to get its picture taken and get a ticket. But that intersection can also say, but I'm not going to turn the opposing traffic's light green. I'm going to hold everyone red until that vehicle goes all the way through and has cleared the intersection. And I will only allow oncoming traffic to go through once I know that the intersection is clear and safe. That's where you want to do analytics, right at the infrastructure point.
Sam, thanks for being with us today.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Gary. I look forward to our next conversation.